Hey everybody, thought I'd hop on here and do kind of a unconventional episode of In Your Shoes here. I'm also testing different audio settings, so let me know how this sounds. If it sounds better than the previous episodes or if it sounds worse, just let me know. A bit of a weird episode, like I said. It's currently 1 o'clock in the morning. I am not able to fall asleep. One of those nights where like head hits the pillow and just like you're trying to like go through the process of your routine of falling asleep, and something just doesn't feel right. And I was distracting myself with like video games and stuff like that, and watching a movie on my second monitor. But I just something was just scratching at the back of my brain. I was like, I need to do something. I need to be somewhat creative or productive in some capacity. Oh, I know. Well, I mean, why don't I go check the In Your Shoes inbox and see if we can find a good question to answer at 1 o'clock in the morning? And lo and behold, I think we found a perfect question to answer at 1 o'clock in the morning. And one that I feel like has been kind of keeping me up recently. This feeling at the very least. And that question, and whoever submitted this one, well, you really knocked it out of the park. I want to just say you really read the room here. This one says, I'm not where I want to be in life, and I'm worried I will never get there. It was very straightforward and very to the point of what they were trying to ask me. No introduction, no hi Trip or blah, blah, blah. Like, just straight to the point. And I really like this question. I feel like this was, again, like I said, the right pick, and honestly, it came at just the right time. I will say right now, I will openly admit it, I am not where I want to be in my life right now, both professionally and admittedly creatively. I want to change the output of content on this channel and have it be far more frequent. That's something that I've just always wanted to do, is just create content, and maybe, like I've mentioned it, I think in a previous episode, someday have it become my full-time job. That would make me very happy. It's just I am very caught up in other things in my personal life right now that are kind of preventing me from being able to do this right now. It's easier said than done, and I know that like I'm talking about content creation again, and this is supposed to be a little more of a general question, and I want to just let you know, it's like I feel like they always say this thing about like it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, but they never mention how bad the journey can be, how disappointing and excruciating it can be, and discouraging the journey to be, or to get to where you want to be in life. And there's a latter part to this question that's I'm worried I will never get there. Now, in my opinion, the only reason you should ever worry that you don't get to that destination, which, by the way, I'm going to address a little more about my previous point about journey and the destination, whatever, in just a second, but if you're making the right choices, and I know it's not, you don't always know what the right choices are, but if you're making the right steps, I should say, towards doing what you want to do or being wherever you want to be, whether that's a physical location, a profession, a personal thing to you in your life, it's you really should not be worried, so as long as you are constantly moving forward and taking those steps forward. To sort of summarize what I'm trying to say here, it's that, making those steps and making those changes, and a lot of it is sacrifice. That's what I always kind of boil it down to. And a lot of it is changes. They're change. You need to make change, and you need to, I understand change can be scary. I feel like I've been kind of in a plateau recently that I'm trying to dig my way out of, and both in my content, both in my personal life, in my professional life, and all these other things, that like I just feel like my day-to-day has become very plateaued. And I do realize that I am somebody, I get addicted to comfort, and I think that that's such a common thing right now. Like today, I think that a lot of people find themselves getting addicted to comfort to the point that your day-to-day life just becomes the same thing week after week, day after day. And it's okay to have like a routine. I'm not saying that, you should ever just completely break your routine or never have a routine. Routine is good as well, things that you need to do. But I was kind of thinking about this earlier today about how I've realized this plateau, and it's like, it's so scary for me to make these changes. But why would you ever want everything to be the same every day? That is kind of my biggest motivator is, would you want everything to be the same? Don't get me wrong, familiarity is great, but do you want everything to always be the same every day, day after day? You get up every day, you work the same job, you're doing the same projects year after year, month after month, week after week, and then you go grocery shopping once a week on this day of the week, and then you do this and you do that, and eventually you just realize you've just been kind of stuck, and so much time has gone by. And that is how I feel like this year has reflected on my personal life very specifically. Maybe not so much in content creation. In fact, I've created the most content this year that I've ever created before. And I couldn't be happier doing it. In fact, as of me recording this, I did an amazing stream with a good buddy of mine, Mr. Wonko Bonko, where we did a fake election. That reminds me, I'm recording this episode at 1 a.m. as they are still currently deciding the real president of the United States, which is, I can't help but crack up at the fact that right now, one of the biggest moments in U.S. history right now is currently going on, and I'm here at 1 o'clock in the morning after having done like a parody stream, answering the question of I'm not where I want to be in life, and I'm worried I will never get there. I can't help but crack up at it, but it's not a funny question. It's a very, very straightforward question, but contextually, I think there's a bit to laugh at there. But I totally get this, and it's how I feel all the time. And you should only really be worried if you're not making changes. And maybe you're not making changes. Maybe you're not thinking, well, how can I do this better? Or how can I do this differently? I know this is very general advice, but recently, okay, I will give a personal... I will share this with you guys, is that recently I've been rewatching my VODs. And that is excruciating for me to do. Both I do it to create clips, but also to kind of learn how to get better at being on camera, talking into a microphone, something that I think I'm generally already pretty good at, but I've realized by watching my own content, watching my own VODs, that I could get a lot better. And I've actually learned quite a few things that I'm going to be implementing into my own content. And like I said, watching my own VODs is fucking excruciating to do. I don't like seeing myself on camera and hearing myself talking to a microphone. I actually don't. Even though this is something that I would love for it to be my job, I just can't get past that, and that's something that I need to work on. That's something that I need to change, and I'm actively doing it. Am I worried that I'll never get there? No, because now I'm making that next step. I was worried that I would never get there. I will admit, I want to say in September of this year, I was very worried that I wasn't going to get where I wanted to be. And that hung over me like a cloud. I felt like I woke up every day and it was just really, really affecting my mood, my routine, everything. It was horrible. And then I realized, okay, I'm at another point in my life where another transitional period of my life, and that the only way that I've gotten out of previous transitional periods was to push myself to do something that I know that I want to do that maybe scares me a little bit, or maybe it's excruciating for me to do. And of course, don't make yourself too uncomfortable, don't burn yourself out, but sometimes it's good to be a little bit uncomfortable doing something, sometimes there's a reason why you're uncomfortable doing it, and it's because it's kind of the right thing to do. I'll share this actually. In fact, I didn't go to college immediately after high school. I took a year. I took 1 year off, and I didn't know if I was ever going to go to college. I didn't really know what I wanted to study. I didn't really have any idea whatsoever. So what I chose to do was sit there and work my job and make a little money and save a little bit of money, and then decide where I was going to go from there. But then I just found myself, and I should actually mention that originally it was going to be a gap semester after high school, before I started college, but it ended up turning into a gap year. And the reason why was because I was afraid to go to college. I didn't think it was for me. I was told it wasn't for me. And that ended up not being true at all. I ended up becoming who I am now. If I hadn't gone to college, honestly, probably would just still be working, whatever part-time job I could find or full-time job that would, take me without a degree. That's where I would be, And I always, going back to the point about the transitional period, it's that year of my life was such a plateau. I wasn't changing anything. I wasn't learning anything. That's another thing. It's good to learn things. Learn new things. Learning something new is honestly the best thing. It's the best thing for getting you to where you want to be in life. Because chances are you got to learn something. It could be a lesson. It could be, an actual study, a trade maybe. Maybe the trades are for you. I know they're not for me, but either way, I hope I was able to answer your question. If you'd like to submit a question, there's a Google form. I'll post it in the description down below, and I look forward to reading some more of these, especially maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning, or maybe hopefully at a more reasonable time in the future. But yeah, I got to go try to actually, head to pillow and see if I can finally fall asleep, conk out for the night. Thank you guys for listening, and the reception of the episodes so far have been really good, so I just want to say thank you guys so much. I'm also thinking about what thumbnails I want to put on these videos. It's very tough because I don't appear physically on camera, but I'll decide that for myself. See ya.